Hey there. I am wanting to talk to you, especially if you're a parent. This can actually benefit everybody, but especially if you're a parent, I really want to support you today because if you're stressed out, if you kind of at your wits' end, you feel like people are working your last nerve, then this will really help you because I want you to understand the power of your nervous system and how it impacts everyone around you, especially your kids. So let me pop over to my presentation here. What every parent needs to know, what every stressed out parent needs to know. I'm going to kind of cover that today. So let's start. I really call it like chill parenting 101. Why managing your stress supports your kids' brain health. This is super, super important, my friend. So I want to just take, 10 minutes or so to kind of go over this with you because I want to explore your nervous system. I want to give you a refresher course. Maybe you know about it, maybe you don't. I just want to kind of review that so that you kind of know where we're going. It's always nice for the analytical mind to go, oh, I understand. The warning signs of stress. We're all feeling this, and we're feeling a huge amount of them on different levels, and we'll go over that. I want to share that with you. This sneaking behavior signs. Sneaky is what it should say. Sneaking behavioral signs you shouldn't ignore. So just a little bit about me. My name is Lori Soleil. I am a coach and an educator. I'm a certified hypnotherapist. I'm honored to be an award-winning coach. I bring in NLP, that's one of my modalities, Psyche, quantum consciousness, really all things related to cutting edge, leading edge ways to improve our lives. I love it. I always dive into it. And my wellness advice has been featured in many magazines. So that's a little bit about me. But most importantly, I'm a mama. And the reason I came to this work, my friend, is that I went through a personal healing crisis with chronic fatigue. It took me about 4 years to recover. And through that process, I learned how to set boundaries. I learned how to manage my nervous system. I learned how to bring in more self-worth, more kindness, more self-love, because as a mom, I was just neglecting myself, forgetting to take care of myself. But subconsciously, it was choosing not to take care of myself because I felt like that's what I needed to do as a mom. I needed to make sure everybody else's needs were taken care of while neglecting my own. And there's a lot more of the deep kind of insidious sort of limiting beliefs that were in there. I had to undo all that. So through the processes that I learned in order to heal, I now bring that into my coaching practice. And I say that I empower women without leaving our men behind. You can see that in my little tagline. I have a lot of men clients. I have a lot. And so if you're a man and a parent, I'm absolutely happy to support you as well. So that's just a little bit about me. But the reason why I'm talking about this was because of my own personal healing crisis. It knocked me on my ass. Like I just, for 4 years. So I'm sharing it with you so that if you're a high achieving mama, because that's my sort of my specialty, listen up because I want to go over this with you. Okay, nervous system 101 refresher. Let's talk a little bit about the nervous system. So our central nervous system is comprised of a couple things. We have the central nervous system, which is the brain and the spine. Then you have the peripheral nervous system. Then they break out into parasympathetic and sympathetic nerves. And why this is important is because when we talk about regulation, we want to move out of the sympathetic. So the sympathetic has its role, of course. If we're running from something, we're in a dangerous situation, we got to get out fast. That's what the sympathetic does. It marshals up all of our strength, our adrenaline to kind of get us going, cortisol so that we're really focused. But most of us live in the chronic stressed state, the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And so there are hormones that continually kick through our body when we're in that nervous system state. And for most of us, sadly, a lot of us are always in it. We're always at that hypervigilant state. When I lived in Oakland, which is in California, we had a pretty sketchy neighborhood. And I was always in that hyper vigilant state, especially because my boys were young. You're always on edge. It's that feeling, right? But what does it do? It just really it destroys our health when we're in it for long periods of time. In fact, they say 90% of disease is caused from stress, which is being in that stressed state. Cortisol is another hormone that gets kicked into our system, and that begins to cause inflammation. That's the reason why they say the diseases are developing because of our stress state and we don't get out of it. So moving into the parasympathetic nervous system. So the sympathetic is the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Cortisol, adrenaline, noradrenaline, those are the hormones that kick through your system to allow you to respond. But here's what we do, my friend. Back in the day, way back, way back, we were running from things that wanted to eat us. But now we don't generally have to worry about that. But our mind just, the monkey mind, they call it. Our brain doesn't know the difference between real and imagined. It blows my mind. We can imagine a scenario. So when we're in that anxiety mode or we're catastrophizing about our day, that is that stress response. The body is prepared, like, oh God, what's going to happen, right? But it's our thought process, which we can control, which is beautiful. Like, I can talk more about that later. So just understanding that nervous system and what it does, then you want to be able to regulate, right? So we're dysregulated when we're constantly in that stress state. When we start to regulate, we move into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest, restore, digest. It's a wonder why we have digestive issues, right? If we're always in the stress state, our body doesn't want to digest in that state. So that's why we want to get into the parasympathetic. So we are then kicking in serotonin and oxytocin, vasopressin, acetylcholine, prolactin, like a lot of these really good hormones that get us back into that more relaxed state. So just wanted to give you a little bit of a refresher on it. And then you can see how, the different nervous systems impact different things. And we won't necessarily talk about it this time, but the vagus nerve is a huge piece of being able to re-regulate our systems. So more on that later. I just wanted to give you a refresher course. So what is stress? Right? Stress is a natural response that your body and your mind have to any kind of demand or threat. It's your body's way of reacting to a challenge or a situation that requires you to adjust or respond. We just talked about that. While some levels of stress can absolutely be normal, that's normal, and even beneficial in certain situations, chronic or excessive stress can have negative effects on your physical and mental health. At the bottom, I have a link about a free offer that I'm going to share with you, a free opt-in. I'll talk about it at the end, but that's what that link is for. Okay, physical warning signs that you're in a stressed state. So I'm going to read these in case you're just listening on this video, which I like to do on YouTube a lot. I just turn the video on and listen. So physical warning signs: rapid heart rate without physical exertion, chronic headaches, sleep issues, high blood pressure, weight gain or weight loss, neck and or low backaches, chest pain, digestive issues. You get sick often, you have a low libido, you're feeling exhausted all the time. That was me, chronic fatigue, right? That was the symptom. Feeling dizzy or nauseous. So these are some of the warning signs that you're in a prolonged stress state. Emotional warning signs: apathy, feeling on edge, irritable, quick to anger, chronic worry, anxiety, feeling overwhelmed, fear of failure, depressed, feeling lonely or isolated, feeling unworthy, defensive, or frustrated. So those are just some of the emotional elements of the cocktail, the stress cocktail that you can be experiencing. Now, we go through cycles through the day, but I'm talking about things where it's a prolonged situation can then, of course, indicate you're in a stress state. Mental warning signs: trouble concentrating, forgetfulness, negative thinking or dwelling on negative thoughts, racing thoughts, poor judgment, easily embarrassed, lack of creativity, poor performance. So those are the mental signs. Now the behavioral signs. Now these are the things that I talked about, those sneaky behaviors that come in that you want to start to pay attention to. Behavioral warning signs. So change of eating habits, sleeping more than usual, using alcohol, cigarettes, drugs, food, shopping, scrolling on social media to distract or relax from stress. So these are unhealthy coping strategies to cope with the stress in your life. Teeth grinding, nail biting. I didn't have that in there, but I do have it in there. Have to keep reading. Nervous habits like nail biting, stuttering, nervous tics, trembling, easily startled, isolating yourself from others, procrastinating or neglecting your responsibilities, blaming or raging at others, right? A lot of people will trauma dump on us. We've all done it, and we see this a lot on kind of on social media where people are just like, blah, like they don't have anywhere to go to take it. So they just let it all out. And that can be what they call trauma dumping. Okay, let's take that all in. I wanted to point those out because all of us feel a variety of those things. I definitely, when I'm tired, I go to TV. That's my kind of my coping strategy. I binge watch, the Bridgertons, or my son actually got me into something called Samurai Champloo, and it was an older animation. It's so good. So just been kind of binge watching certain things. But I wanted to kind of give you a heads up, because awareness is the precursor to change, my friend. When you're aware of it, then you can go, oh, there's that. Okay. Because a lot of times we just run, and we're not in our bodies. We're so dissociated. We're so much in that mental state that we're not paying attention. It's called interoception. We're not paying attention to the signs our body is giving us. And that is absolutely where I was when I got hit with chronic fatigue. I was not paying attention to the signs. Oh, I'll take care of it in a bit. When I just get this done, I'll go and eat something. When I just get this done, I was always on the back burner. So parents' nervous systems play a big role in how their kiddos' brains develop. It's all about this fascinating process called neurobiological or emotional imprinting. Let's go there. Okay, emotional regulation. You as a parent serves as an emotional regulator for your kids, especially in the early years of development. So when a parent experiences stress or anxiety, their physiological responses, such as increased heart rate or shallow breathing, can be sensed by your kid. Your nervous system imprints upon them. So these cues can influence the child's own emotional state and stress response. Oh my God, this is so huge. And I didn't learn this until later on. So I'm having to come around and kind of teach my kids how to re-regulate their nervous systems. They're not kids anymore, they're teenagers. But, we do what we can. And, it's all about just sort of self-love and forgiveness. But when then you can make better choices. Mirror neurons. I love this when I learned about this like decades ago. Mirror neurons are specialized cells in the brain that fire both when an individual performs an action and when they observe someone else performing the same action. Oh, wow, right? When parents experience emotions such as stress, sadness, or anxiety, their children's mirror neurons may fire in response, leading them to mirror or mimic those emotional states. Our animals do this too. I was just talking to my mom about this, how, helping her relax a little bit more because she's got a dog that's just kind of hypervigilant. And so this also can impact the animals. It impacts the whole field. It impacts our friends. It impacts our family. We're talking about you as a parent with your kids especially. And then attachment patterns play a huge role. The parent-child relationship plays a crucial role in shaping the child's nervous system. We just talked about that. And emotional regulation abilities, right? If they're learning from you and you're not in a good place, then they're learning those unhealthy coping strategies. Secure attachment, characterized by consistent and responsive caregiving, promotes healthy nervous system development and stress regulation in children. Insecure attachment resulting from inconsistent or neglectful caregiving can lead to dysregulation, stress response, and emotional difficulties. So where do we go with that? I mean, I clearly have made mistakes, and I have to come back around and teach. And the good news is that we all can learn resilience and learn how to be better. And so when we know better, we do better. I love that quote. And that's why I wanted to share this with you, because I wanted to help you do better. We can all do better, right? We can all, and we're all doing the best we can. So this isn't about blaming or shaming. This is just about providing you with really good information so that you can first take care of yourself, because you have to. And then once you do that, that impacts in a beautiful way, right? So mirror neurons not only serve, if a child's learning an unhealthy pattern, but a healthy pattern, right? So as you begin to model that, and that's such an important thing to do as a parent, then the child will learn. All right. Yeah, I just recapped. So what you learned, your chill vibes totally rub off on your kiddos' brains. Think zombies, brains. When you practice chill parenting by keeping your cool and looking after your feelings and self-care needs, you're basically setting the stage for a happy, healthy brain development journey for the whole family. So that's where I wanted to go with it. And I wanted to share this at the end because I created this. Again, as I told you, my specialty is helping moms, women, empowering women without leaving our men behind. It's a beautiful thing. I feel like I want to come together. It's not an us versus them thing. But as the mom especially can really regulate her own nervous system, it helps and improves. And if you're a papa, same thing. But this I created for high achieving moms who struggle with chronic exhaustion. That's where I was. I wasn't listening to my body. And that's when I went into this healing crisis. And honestly, I still pay attention to it today because I can feel myself like my body's like, oh, wait, you're pushing too hard. You're not eating. You're not, I generally get enough sleep, but you're not taking care. You're not getting out and walking or going to the gym or doing something physical. You're not getting out into nature. You're not grounding in nature, which is a huge thing for me. It's a huge way I relieve stress. And I can feel my body like, you better pay attention. So that's a good thing. But because of that, I created this, I call it energy on tap, because I know back in the day, I was really just striving for energy. But what I do talk about is why it's important to take care of yourself. So just basically what we learned here, I talk a little bit about this in the guide, but I also give 5 fabulous energy fixes to help you come back to center, come back, right? Get self-centered. I love this. A couple of friends came up with this. Get self-centered, right? Come back to center so that you can recharge. And it starts to promote more self-care. So if you want that, let's go here. The free guidebook, click the link below. So down in the comments below, I will have that link so that you can grab that. It's a free offer. It's a free opt-in. It's a free gift from me. So I'm just grateful you're here. I'm so glad you're here. If you have any questions or you want any kind of support, you can always reach out to me. But that's where we're at, my friend. And, if you feel inclined, go ahead. And if you're watching this from YouTube, subscribe to my channel as I continue to post more. And that's it. I am so happy that you are here. Let me end with the music. All right. I'll see you later. Ciao.